Thanks. I'm Claude Solitario, Managing Director of Medibio. As Tim said, Medibio is a mental health technology company, and we use artificial intelligence, neural network methodology to identify biomarkers that will assist in the early detection of mental illness. We're focusing predominantly on depression. Next slide, Tim. Thanks. Oh, one more. That's it. The company is divided into essentially two business units. We have the regulated business unit, which is targeting the clinical market and going through FDA approval there, and the non-regulated unit, business unit, which allows, being non-regulated, it allows us to access early revenue. Next slide, Tim. I don't think I need to dwell on this too much. The market is quite large, unfortunately. The World Health Organization tell us that there are 350 million people that suffer from depression in any given year. They were pre-COVID numbers, I should add. In more recent times, the Productivity Commission in Australia has issued their report, and they estimate that mental illness costs the Australian economy some $500 million a day. So it's a big issue in any metric that you use. Next slide, please, Tim. So the problem with the diagnosis of depression is that it's very subjective. It relies very heavily on the skill of the clinician and, of course, the way that the patient answers questions during the interview process. The problem with subjective diagnosis is that there is often misdiagnosis, and of course that leads to suboptimal treatment. So we at Medibio are about turning what is a subjective approach to an objective approach as much as possible. So we have identified markers during the sleep period in particular, which is the most diagnostically significant because there are no external influences during the night. And we believe that we have identified a number of biomarkers that correlate very highly with depression. Next slide, please, Tim. So just a quick word on the subjectivity. The National Institute of Mental Health in the USA a number of years ago, they came out and said that they will no longer endorse DSM-5 as it has fundamental flaws, and that those fundamental flaws, of course, is their subjectivity. So they are actively seeking a diagnostic system that is evidence-based. So with next slide, please, Tim. So with that background, we have been researching biological markers for many years. So we are now conducting what we call a depressive burden trial in patients that suffer from sleep disturbance. We've developed what we call MEB1, which is a software medical device that essentially has three main components. The sleep staging component or algorithms, because we need to know what stage of sleep a patient is in during the night. We overlay that using resting heart rate algorithms and heart rate variability algorithms, and the combination of those will lead us to a depressive burden analysis. Now, the trial is to validate. The trial we are undertaking is to validate MEB001 as a medical device. And then when approved by the FDA, the MEB001 will aim to provide the clinician with a data-driven approach that will aid in his or her diagnosis of depression. I will say that if we do get, if we're fortunate enough to get approval for MEB001, we will have the world's first objective test for depression. Next slide, please, Tim. So the revenue model is fairly straightforward. It'll simply be a dollar value for every report generated. Next slide, please, Tim. The effects of COVID pandemic on our mental health has been significant and stark. So that has led us to apply for a breakthrough device designation with the FDA. The benefits of a breakthrough device designation with the FDA is that it will fast track our depressive burden trial through the process. and it will also provide us additional opportunities to interact with FDA management. So the FDA have advised us that our request has been logged and we anticipate a response within 1 or 2 weeks, around about on or about the 30th of November. Next slide please, Tim. Excuse me. So as part of the MEB 001 medical device, we needed to develop algorithms that identify sleep, which we've done very successfully. We have our algorithms that identify sleep is as good as clinicians, if not better. The good thing about MEB sleep is that it does in 2 minutes what a clinician requires around 60 to 90 minutes. So it is this characteristic that has led us to apply for a 510K application for our sleep algorithms alone, because we believe that they have the sleep algorithms have a market quite apart from their role in MEB 001. So we expect 510K clearance in the next few weeks. So next slide, please, Tim. So something of note is our agreement with Medbridge Healthcare. Medbridge Healthcare is the largest provider of sleep laboratory management services in the United States. They operate over 130 sleep disorder diagnostic centers. We have signed a clinical trial agreement with Medbridge. They were more than enthusiastic of being involved with our depressive burden trial, because they see sleep disorders and depression go hand in hand, and they believe that depression in patients with sleep disturbances is an unmet need, and they were more than happy to assist us with our trial agreement, with our clinical trial. So we're very excited about the Medbridge relationship, not only because of their role in our trial, but also they act as a very good avenue to market in due course. Next slide, please, Tim. So that is a summary of our regulated side. On the non-regulated side of the business, we have developed a corporate program called Illumin. Illumin is targeted to employers predominantly, and it provides employers with rich data on the mental wellness of their workforce. They get a de-identified aggregated dashboard of mental wellness data in real time. So that allows them to monitor any programs that they may have implemented for their workforce. And for them, that's for the employer. For the employee that participates, it provides them with an early screening tool, screening tool for stress, and it gives them a well-being snapshot of their mental health. Next slide, please, Tim. So last week at our annual general meeting, I was very pleased to announce that we have concluded an agreement with Compass Group. Compass are a global organisation providing food and other services to a number of companies over a number of different industries. Pre-COVID, they had an employee workforce of around 600,000 and span over 45 countries. They service a number of broad industry groups like defence, offshore and remote, education and healthcare. And they also service a number of companies, global companies such as Coca-Cola, Google, American Express, Chevron. So it is truly a global organisation. Our agreement with them is that we will supply Illumin to their companies around the world that have an interest in utilising Illumin. And the agreement also provides Compass to promote Illumin to their clients. So it's an exciting agreement for us, and we look forward to developing that over the next 2 to 3 years. Next slide, please, Tim. The other part of the non-regulated business is the consumer app. This is one that I'm particularly excited about. This is in development. It's hasn't yet been launched, but we've decided to develop a consumer app to make our technology available to every man and woman. It will be available on the App Store in due course. We believe it'll be successful because there are many stress apps in the marketplace, but most of them, the very, very good ones, deal in the treatment side of the equation. We are not that. We are in the early screening, early detection of stress. So our unique selling proposition is our biometrics. Now, as far as we can ascertain, there are no other apps in the marketplace that have a biometric associated with their offering. So our app will have a biometric and will supplement that with a psychometric assessment as well. So you can if you don't have a wearable device to attach for the biometric, you can also you can only take the psychometric assessment. So I'm very excited about that. We're in development now. We hope to launch that in the next calendar year, 2021. Next slide, please, Tim. So we're looking forward to a number of very exciting milestones. We have which of course will translate to news flow for us. We're looking forward to securing the breakthrough device designation. We have Compass companies coming on board, which will keep us very busy. The global agreement also opens the door for us to interact with Compass Australia. We're looking forward to that. We also, with the borders coming down over in the east very slowly, albeit, we look forward to increasing our Australian activity and marketing of Illumin. We have the 510K clearance, of course, coming up. We expect to have a pre-submission meeting with the FDA over the next 1 or 2 months to agree on the endpoints for our depressive burden trial. So that will be significant for us. Of course, during 2021, we have the launch of our consumer app. We'll be launching that predominantly in the US. And then, of course, we expect to complete our depressive burden trial during the next calendar year. That will form the basis of our de novo application for MEB 001. And of course, if we're successful, we'll have the world's first objective test for depression. Next slide, please, Tim. So why invest in Medibio? Well, we have an early revenue with our non-regulated products. We have an innovative technology. The markets we're targeting are all very large. We have a superior value proposition in our objective biomarkers that we've identified. We're looking forward to some regulatory approvals, which are all in play. And of course, our technology is patent protected. Next slide, please, Tim. Just a quick word on the corporate structure. We're listed on the Australian Stock Exchange, of course. The top 20 control about 38% of the issued capital. Next slide, please, Tim. Just a final word on our board of directors. It is unapologetically small and very much geared to commercialization. Peter Carlisle is our representative in the US. He also sits on our growth and advisory board alongside Michael Phelps, who needs no introduction, and of course Patrick Kennedy, who neither does he need any introduction. Both Michael and Patrick will play significant roles next year as we bring our corporate and consumer products to market. So that's a quick snapshot of Medibio. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We're kind of out of time, but I've got 15 questions here. So what we'll do is we'll ask one quick question, quick answer, please. And then we'll follow up with some content on ShareCafe based around these questions. Yeah. So question, and we do need a quick answer. The commercial strategy for the business. what product does the company feel would deliver the revenue required to see this business go cash flow positive?
Well, that's a good question. On the regulated side, MEB 001 has enormous potential. I mean, any assistance that we can provide to the clinician to help them diagnose depression is going to be very welcome. So that's very scalable. On the non-regulated side, well, Illumin is already in the marketplace, and again, if we focus only on our Compass deal, where the revenue in this financial year, 2021 financial year, will be material. The Compass deal is good for us because they've got a number of companies around the world that have shown an interest in Illumin, and we'll be focusing on those.